Welcome to NanoTech. We present bite-sized pieces of information to help you in your journey teaching and learning online. We want to provide you with valuable resources that are easily accessible and that any teacher can put into practice right away. Today, we're going to talk about using discussions in your online course. The learning intention is very simple. I want you to learn how to best use online discussions as a productive tool to engage students in their learning. Here are the themes that we're going to explore. Purpose of discussions, including different types. And we'll talk about some of the logistics: planning, managing, participating, and assessing. Why would we have discussions in an online course? A well-structured asynchronous online discussion can make the difference between a course that results in effective student learning and a course that is primarily made up of teachers' notes and resources placed online. Discussions can be the key to success. They have a variety of uses in your online course, and we'll talk about updates and communication, using help forums, private discussions, discussions as a way of interaction, and discussions as learning. Now, you might have a weekly discussion message. You might have a post that you put out every Sunday letting students know about the work ahead. Might be something you send out a couple times a week. There might be information about upcoming assignments, readings for the week, or dates for quizzes and tests. Now, don't be afraid to talk how you write. Allow your personality to shine through when posting an update. Your students want to know that there's a living human being behind the computer screen. Make sure your messages are clear and concise. Now, in any online course, there will be specific questions about technology. It'll be important to have a technical support help forum. It is best practice to separate the technology piece from the learning piece. Therefore, you also want to offer a forum about questions for the assignments. Now, in both of these cases, because they are open forums, students will see each other's posts and will be able to respond to each other. Please encourage this. This will be a lifesaver. Private discussions are a way for you to communicate directly with your student. It's an area that's just between you and that student, and depending on which learning management system you're using, this may be available to you. Private discussions really are the ultimate form of personalization. It's a place where you, the teacher, has direct contact with each individual student. As this quotation from Minds Online reminds us, researchers pointed out the favorable comparison with respect to faculty-student interactions, noting that these personal exchanges were virtually absent in the traditional version of the course. Discussions are the chance to interact, teacher and student to student. Now, don't feel limited to just writing messages in text back and forth. There are creative tools and apps that allow for audio clips or full videos to be shared back and forth. Sometimes a 60-second video is more powerful, more meaningful, and more engaging than 500 words of text. To ensure that students are interacting, here are a couple key tips. You can let students know that if they agree with someone's post or if they like what they say, give that sort of feedback. But be specific and give details. It's great advice for students to connect the post with something else relevant. Another student's post, a previous topic covered in class, something you've assigned for reading, a current event, something like that. Now, effective discussions aren't just for sharing information or making connections. The best types of discussions engage students in their own learning. Because most discussions are asynchronous, students can take time to be thoughtful and deliberate in their responses. Online students can take as much time as they need to thoughtfully formulate responses. And it's this kind of effortful analysis that best supports coveted intellectual habits like critical thinking. So, what are some of the logistical pieces? Well, first, you need to plan out what types of discussions you'll have in your class. A strong discussion question will challenge students and cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. It has more than one or two correct answers and requires students to engage in other reading or learning that they've already done. Most importantly, a strong discussion relates directly to the learning objectives. Creating effective online discussions really is an art form, and you're going to work on discovering what works best for your students and what works best for you. Discussion should involve the week's reading, should involve application of knowledge, and provide students with an opportunity to give a personal opinion or experience. Now, one way to ensure students aren't just repeating or rehashing the same point over and over is to ask students to include a question within their own post. That way, only the first couple students are required to respond to the original question. Each subsequent student response is based off a critical question asked by another student. So, students who post later have the challenge of responding to student generated questions, which can be even more challenging. A key part of online discussions is management. Structure and organization. You need to be thoughtful about how you'll organize your discussions. Think about the different types and the different purposes. Schedule and time management. You need to be responsive to discussion posts. Use built in tools to only have discussions open for a set period of time. Be mindful, but be timely. Setting goals and expectations. At the start of the course or lesson or module, make sure expectations for students are crystal clear. And finally, reflect, revamp, redo. Even if online discussions aren't new to you, take time to reflect on their effectiveness. And if you need to revamp them or even redo them completely. When a discussion is used as part of an assignment or activity, I always encourage teachers to participate. There is room for you in class discussions. Now, this is a way that teachers can demonstrate their online presence through participating in discussions. Some of that might be your own posts, it might be your own information, or by asking students to elaborate, support with evidence, something like that. Your students need to know that you're all in this together, and this is a great way to demonstrate it. If you're using discussions as part of an assignment, and if you've crafted them carefully, you can use them as part of quality assessment. However, students do need to know this expectation in advance. Give some thought to what and how you're assessing. Is it based on original posting? Is it based on replying to peers? Think carefully about quality versus quantity. Another good tip is to make sure you're providing examples of how best to interact in discussions. Even though students may have experience with this, they haven't necessarily experienced it with you. What are your expectations? Two of the great books that I've used to pull some of this information together are Teaching Online Without You Losing Your Mind and Minds Online, Teaching Effectively with Technology. You can also go teachingandlearningonline.com/communication. So thank you for spending these few minutes with me as we explore how to best use online discussions as a way for students to interact, engage, and learn. Online discussions can be the heart of an online course, and due to the flexible nature of teaching and learning online, discussions can be some of the most powerful learning students experience. They have the time to read, to think, and to respond. They have the time to critically analyze. They have the time to formulate their responses to their peers. Keep your students actively engaged in their learning journey through focused, carefully planned, intellectually relevant online discussions. And don't forget, you should be part of that discussion as well. Take good care. Thank you.